Shalom, call hello Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Ba'Hashem Rakabadash. Double honors once again to the apostles of Great Millstone and elders. Alright. Let's see. Oh boy. This article, as soon as it reloads, you've been hearing about reparations come up the last several years, which to be truthfully honest, this is not something that you can count on, or nor should you look forward to, because, according to the scriptures, these devils, these Edomites, want to be our reparation. All right, he controls everything on his side, so therefore you can't trust anything that he does. All these centuries, and I stress centuries, all right, you got to understand, he thinks he's gotten away with what he's done. All right, and this is classic Zechariah 11. All right. And also, it's to the point that our own people, let me read the scripture. This is Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. All right. Whose possessors slay them. Who's them? It's us. And hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them, alright, say, Blessed be the Most High Yahweh, or the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Alright? That's their take on it. And those people that they set up to be our leaders, alright, they took the bag. They're not concerned about us. These are people they call in to quell the riots or the uprisings, such as Reverend Jesse Jackson, Al Sharptons, and people of that nature. Alright? Because after all, your oppressor's version of Christianity is just that, his version. Alright, it has nothing to do with the Holy Scriptures that are for the nation of Israel, not the Israelis. We're talking about the Israelites, which consist of 12 tribes, not just one. But you always hear the Jews, that's just one. Alright? And it's really weird because up until this point, it seems as though no one really questioned that. Alright, so back to the article. And it's from Yahoo News, yahoo.com. It says, slave-built infrastructure still creates wealth in U.S. That's America. Suggesting reparations should cover past harms and cover value of slavery. No amount of money that you can, even if you decided to, can never give us back what you have taken from us. That's why your whole nation, alright, is going to be reparations. That's right. Your whole nation. I say it again. Don't believe me? Let's go to. Alright. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. You got understanding? Hear this. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. There you go. I will bounce back and forth, but I'm doing this in order to show you that this is all in the book, all over the book, Old Testament, New Testament, Apocrypha. This is Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, which we still are. Remember, as in ancient Egypt, Pharaoh does not want to let us go. He refuses to. And as a result, he shall surely be put to death. Alright? For those of you that say, no. That's why. Let's go back to Revelation. Let's go 18. This is Revelation 18 and 4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. That's the Israelites, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Again, in order to understand this, you have to read 17. Alright? It talks about the whore. Alright? For her sins are reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, and the cup which she hath filled to her double. So you're not only, alright, going to be put into slavery, and those things which come with that, it's going to be doubly hard for you. 7, and this is the attitude of these pieces of shit that are over us. It says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no more. Isaiah 47. And as a result of that mindset that your shit don't stink, and you think you got away with it because, hey, you say the Most High must be with you. Ecclesiastes 8:11, Sirach chapter 5 verse 4. Because you think nothing has happened. Alright? So you think the Most High is with you. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Most High Yahweh, who judgeth her. 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, they followed your democracy, your doctrine, your philosophies, alright? And because of that, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. It's not going to be any joy because of what they did to us. It's going to be because we can't make no more money. Because as it states in 1 Maccabees 2:10, it says, everybody took part, alright, and received of our spoils. All the nations, alright. So let's jump back again. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50. Alright. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, and it says prophecy against Babylon. Let's start at 6. My people have been lost sheep, their shepherds have caused them to go astray. Like those fools that I just mentioned, Reverend Jesse Jackson, all these others. Alright? Because what? They're not telling us the right way to go. Because they listen to our oppressor, who has nothing to do with our book. Verse 6 again, it says, my people have been lost sheep, their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them, all these other nations. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Most High Yahweh, the habitation of justice, even the Most High Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. It's no coincidence they're coming at us, especially Amalek, the ones who claim to be Jewish, alright, who really run things in this world. Alright, they know the scriptures enough to know to keep us. It's the small things, alright. When you read Judith the 5th chapter, it goes into that. These people would send spies, alright, and if we were going off, then they knew that they could invade us, and chances are they could take us over. Yes, that's actually what happened. Alright? Everybody knows who we are except us. You know, we're defenseless. These things were taken from us. You know, we're under the curses. Still. But you're seeing those curses being transferred. Deuteronomy 30 and 7, alright? Jeremiah 30 and 16. Those that devoured us, they're going to be devoured. And that's happening now. Alright? Yeah, so let's go back to the article real quick. Once again, slave-built infrastructure still creates wealth. We are the gift that keeps on giving. Alright, I've often said that in some of my videos. A lot of our people don't understand to the extent what slavery is. They got this image of being tied to a tree and whipped. Well, that's part of the chattel bit of it, but you got to understand that this devil switched things up. Alright, after all, the basic definition of that is control of one's labor. Alright, we don't own or run anything. Again, the curses. So let's go there real quick, just as an example. I encourage those who haven't read it to read it. Deuteronomy 28 chapter. There's other scriptures and everything of that nature in the Bible, but it's most, concentrated in this one chapter speaks volumes. Alright? Of course, 1 through 14 tells you if we had obeyed the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, we would have been on top. Anybody. I think Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Alright? We'd be over everybody. 15 says, if you didn't, alright, all these curses would come upon us. And they did. Whoa, did they. And still follow us to this day. They're on us to this day. But like I said, things are happening now. This devil is being revealed, and these curses are falling on them now. This is Deuteronomy 28:37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Most High Yahweh shall lead thee. Negerkun, Jigaboo. Alright. You get the picture. Thou shalt, skip it down to 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. Everybody comes over here and leapfrogs over us. You ever wonder why that was? This is it. It's a curse. And thou shalt come down very low. They come in our neighborhood, they run the stores. Alright. 44, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh thy power, not anybody else's, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. This is why. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Can't be more plain than that. It says American cities from Atlanta to New York City still use buildings, roads, ports, and rail lines built by enslaved people. The fact that centuries-old relics of slavery still support the economy of the United States suggests that reparations for slavery would need to go beyond the government payments to the ancestors of enslaved people to account for profit-generating slave-built infrastructures. Because what they also did post Civil War, when we would establish communities, towns, they would destroy them. They gave you all these amendments, 13, 14, 15, all right? What did they do? Jim Crow. Established the Ku Klux Klan, lynchings, terrorism. Separate but equal. Yeah, right. Schools. Alright. And still our people excelled. But we were nowhere near. We talking about being on equal footing. Hell no. To this day. And you're expected to still toe the line, so to speak. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps when you don't even have any boots. All these mind games they play, our people grew up listening to this BS. Alright? And you ended up basically destroying yourself because there's no way you can keep up. Some people did things they shouldn't have, and that's a whole nother topic, but yeah, you're being set up. Like I said, these people know who you are. Alright, so they started that post-Civil War. What happened? Because this country is built on free and cheap labor. So now they start the prison and industrial complex. Alright? And that still goes on to this day. You ever heard of ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council? They have a meeting, I believe it's in August of each year in Philadelphia. You've ever heard of private prisons? That's all involved in that. And then they push for the legislators in your respective states, alright, to drum up these laws that generate all these weird and just, I don't know, whatever you call it. You know, it's just draconian, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Laws as such for petty stuff. It gets our people locked up for extended periods of time. Alright? Like if you remember during the 90s, that whole powder cocaine versus crack. Alright, I should say from the late 80s. Alright? Why? Because mostly in the hood is where crack was done. And in the suburbs, you had the powder. They put it in your face, and our people, a lot of them still, you know, well, they shouldn't have done it. Okay, true in the overall sense, but they fail to realize it was always a game. It was always a strategy on the oppressor's part. Alright? Because again, going back to what I understand, I'm going what I stated earlier. Our people really don't understand slavery and what it truly is, what it involves. Alright, continuing on, we'll skip down for time's sake. railroads, while difficult to calculate, scholars estimate that much of the physical infrastructure built before 1860 in the American South was built with enslaved labor. No shit. Alright. Let's see. Our archival research on Montgomery, Alabama shows that enslaved workers built and maintained the Montgomery Eufaula Railroad. This 81-mile-long railroad began in 1859, connected Montgomery to the Central Georgia line, which served both Alabama's fertile cotton-growing region, cotton picked by enslaved hands, and the textile mills of Georgia. Alright, got Jake there out in the cotton field. This says, today Savannah's Deepwater Port remains one of the busiest container ports in the U.S., and that railroad they were talking about being built by our people connected Alabama, Montgomery, to this port. Alright. Let's see. Atlanta, slave-built railroads. Alright. It says in the 1830s, Atlanta was the terminus of a rail line that extended into the Midwest. Some of those same rail lines still drive Georgia's economy. Damn. According to a 2013 state report, railways that went through Georgia in 2012 carried over U.S. $198 billion in agricultural products and raw materials needed for U.S. industry and manufacturing. Everybody has gotten of our spoils. They continue to. Alright? First Maccabees 2 and 10. Rethinking reparations. Savannah, Atlanta, and Montgomery all show how far from being an artifact of history, as some critics of reparations suggest, slavery has a tangible presence in the American economy. Alright? And not just in the South. Wall Street in New York City is associated with the trading of stocks. But in the 18th century, enslaved people were bought and sold there. We've told you people that. Maybe you'll believe it now. Even after New York closed its slave markets, local businesses sold and shipped cotton grown in the slave-holding South. Geographic research like ours could inform thinking on monetary reparations by helping to calculate the ongoing financial value of slavery. Wow, and it just so happens that now they're changing up the money system. Alright? This is why we tell you, okay, Jakes, you're never going to get a fair shake under this demon. We need to get the hell up out of here. Never. This man wants to destroy us, kill us. It's all about that birthright. Alright? Such reparations might include government investments in aspects of American life where black people face disparity. Nah, to hell with all this. Alright? You should want to, well, let's get that scripture real quick and I might close out with that. See how much time I got? I just can't help it. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's see. Is it 51 or 50? This is the mindset we should be in. Things are winding down now. It's 51. Things are winding down now. Alright. We're almost out of here. And you got people that want as messed up in the head, or I should say in the spirit, as a lot of our people are. Alright. What you're thinking of as far as reparations being money is only going to make things a hell of a lot worse. This is Isaiah 51 and 14. It says, the captive exile, which is us, hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, not that his bread should fail. That's what we should be hoping. Get the hell up out of here. Alright. Hastening the day. proletariats. Alright? Paying attention to the news. What's happening over there? The real news, that is. What's happening over there in the Middle East. That's what your attention should be focused on. Alright? The downfall of this piece of shit. Alright, so with that, once again I went over. I hope whoever reviews this is edified as usual. This is done in hopes of waking up the remaining hopefully elect. So once again, the article here had to do with reparations. It says slave-built infrastructure still creates wealth in U.S. From way back in the 1800s, this is suggesting reparations should cover past harms and current value of slavery. And they know this. They just choose to ignore it. They hope you and I don't know this. But now that all this is coming out on this devil, he's trying to hurry up and establish his new world order. Alright? Alright, so with that, hey, shalom.